So joining us today is Nichelle Evans, who's head of Travel and Affinity at Barclays. So my first question to you is related to the series. As I mentioned, it's called Sound On. And I just wanted to know if you could share kind of your journey on how you came to hold the mic, how you got to this place in life.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. And I think about this question a lot because you get asked when you're being interviewed. And I try to always think of an interesting way to tell the story. But I think the reality for me is I've never been a person that had my career journey plotted out. Like I never said, oh, I want to be the CEO or the CMO or this or that. I've always kind of made decisions about opportunities based on good people to work with, based on what I can learn and what I would enjoy.
Can you talk to us about maybe some of the challenges that you faced along your journey and how you overcome them?
I don't have a lot of people in my family that are, in business that can teach me how to chart the path or the way. And sometimes what happens is like there's almost like imposter syndrome, right? So you do well in your career, you're in a leadership seat, but you start to question whether or not you should be there. And you start to question whether or not, someone's going to rip the cover off it and they're going to realize like, oh my gosh, this person should be here, right? You have to believe you can do it before you get there. I do find when I talk to a lot of women, right, they are harder on themselves when they're thinking about the next job that they want to take. And they feel like they need to have 100% of what's on that job description before they apply for it, or they think that they can't do it. So have the confidence that you can do it. Trust yourself that whatever you did to get there, you deserve to be there. And then, believe and take a risk.
Is there something that you think now that you can point to and say, hey, this is still a barrier for women? And do you have any ideas on how we can move forward and break those barriers?
There needs to be women in positions of power that make decisions, that hire. So we need to have more of that, right? We need to have more allies that are helping to get women, to the boardrooms or, to the CEO tables or to the leadership tables. I still often walk into a meeting room and whether I'm the only woman or the only Black person or the only Black woman. And that often for people who aren't the only, that can be uncomfortable, right? You learn over your career, to just plow through and have confidence through it. But when you're not the only, that gives women and others more confidence.
One of the intentional things that you guys have been doing is your race at work action, your RAW plan. Can you talk to us a little bit about your involvement with that?
Race at Work for Barclays is, I think it's 2 years old it was 2 years last October. I've been involved to the level I am for about the first year. And so it basically has, 3 different pillars to it. It's really where Barclays is trying to make a huge difference with, ethnic minorities around colleagues and kind of, the people who work for Barclays in the community, and then also around clients or customers. And this third piece, clients and customers, is the leg of it that I co-lead. So among our global committee, I co-lead that with a gentleman by the name of Kiri Tuttle. And when you say client, it seems pretty simple, but it's actually, I think, the biggest pillar because there's so many different definitions of client. So we've spent the last year really trying to figure out what it means to us, what we think would be impactful for the business. And then what strategy do we want to move forward with? We want to have Barclays double the amount of money that they spend in Black and brown businesses that are suppliers to Barclays, right? And that's a huge thing because, you can't just say, I'm going to go from this amount to that amount. You have to find the businesses that deliver what it is that Barclays needs. A lot of times these businesses aren't at a point where they can compete with a big corporate bank that has a lot of bureaucracy and red tape just to be approved as a supplier. We've gotten the ambition approved to double spend in Black businesses. Now he's putting in all the legwork, right? To how do you identify these businesses? How do you train them? How do you bring them, up to speed? So I think that will make a huge impact.
I want to know how are some other ways that you make sure that you take care of yourself or that you're exercising self-care?
At the place I worked before Barclays, the CEO was very big on, look, I know I ask you guys to work really hard, but you have to take care of yourself first, right? And if you don't take care of yourself first, then you're not going to be any good to me or to the company, right? And so I do try to remember that. And I do try to encourage my team on that. Like, I take every single vacation day that I get, every single floating holiday that I get. Those things are important. Do not waste those, right? Make the time to just walk away from your desk, walk outside, get some sunshine when things are getting, really, really tough. And then know the things that bring you joy. I'm all about, at this point in my career, what are the things that bring me joy in my life? And I try to put as much of that stuff into my day or into my week as possible. But I think it's just really about taking care of yourself and remembering that, it's a job, right? And you're not the company. You are an individual and you're the CEO of your own life. And so you have to make sure you're taking care of yourself first before you can give to anything else.
Thank you so much for your time, your talent, and your energy. And thank you for being such a wonderful addition to any team that you are part of, and especially because you're leading such awesome teams.
Well, thank you. You have been an incredible interviewer and host, and thanks for making me feel comfortable. So I enjoyed the conversation.